Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you are in the Prog Corner. And today on the channel, I'm doing part 2 of my favorite albums. Today we're focusing on prog. Tomorrow it's going to be the non-prog entries. Last week I did 1 through 15. So today I'm doing from 16 to 50. And no further ado necessary. We're going to rip right into it with number 50. It's Alan Parsons' project, an iRobot. Second album came out in 1977. I definitely could have picked the tales and stories of Edgar Allan Poe or whatever that thing was called, or Pyramid, but this is my favorite Alan Parsons album. Dropped in 1977. Just phenomenal. At number 49, let's go with some Hawkwind. My favorite Hawkwind, Hall the Mountain Girl. I just love this album. It's so cool. I love the artwork. A Warrior at the Edge of Time. Yeah, that one's a favorite too, but this is my favorite Hawkwind. You got to have a little bit of space rock in your life, right? And yeah, I just love it. At number 49, that was 49. Number 48, it's Opeth. Oh, Pale Communion. I had to honor and pay some homage to clean vocal Opeth. I'm not a big fan of the Cookie Monster vocals, so when Opeth went 100% prog, I was probably the happiest guy in the universe. And yeah, Pale Communion, just amazing. They've got like 5 albums with clean vocals, but that's easily my favorite. Next up, in the number 47 slot, it's Renaissance. And this is my favorite Renaissance album. I mean, I love, Turn of a Card and Ashes Are Burning and songs of Scheherazade and all that. But yeah, Novella was the first album I got. Well, actually, my sister bought this album back in 1977. And I just fell in love with it. I knew there were some great female vocals in prog, even back in the 70s. I knew it was out there. I knew I needed it. Annie Haslam, just incredible. Next up, in the number 46 position, let's do a little Canterbury. Let's do that first Hatfield in the North album. Absolutely could have done the second one, the Rotters Club, but this is the one that really does it for me. I just love the atmospherics on this album. I love everything about it. It's just a phenomenal record. Cool album cover. Hatfield in the North. Love it. At number 45. A really important album to me. It's We're Only in It for the Money from the Mothers of Invention. Yeah, this came out in 1968. It was a direct response to, Sgt. Pepper's, where you've got, the inside of the album is the outside and the outside is the inside. Oh, yeah, you know that album cover. Well, yeah, this album is so great. I just love Frank Zappa, and that's my favorite Zappa album by far. Just love it. At number 44, it's Mahavishnu Orchestra, Birds of Fire. Yeah, I almost went with the debut album, The Inner Mountain Flame, which is just terrific, but this one gets the nod just a little bit stronger in my opinion. I am going to be doing a jazz fusion episode soon, so Mahavishnu Orchestra is going to be up front and center for that. Just incredible. I love it. Next up at number 43, let's go to France. It's Jean-Pierre Louboutin, JPL. And the first of his Sapiens installments. This is Sapiens Part One. Just incredible. All 3 Sapiens albums are amazing. I love JPL. I was a big fan of his previous band Nemo, but his solo stuff just incredible. And this album here, one of the best modern prog albums you'll ever hear. Dropped in 2020. Just incredible. Alrighty, now we are up to number 42, and I'm going with Please Don't Touch from Steve Hackett. Yeah, I ranked the Steve Hackett albums a couple months ago. Voyage of the Acolyte was number 1, but this is my favorite albums, and I will always have a soft spot for Steve Hackett's second solo album. I love Steve Walsh. I love Richie Havens. So the vocals on this really tickle my fancy. I just love this thing. It's so diverse. Some of the songs maybe don't hang together quite as good as on Voyage of the Acolyte, but who cares? It's fun. Just fantastic. Lordy, look what's at number 41. It's England and Garden Shed, one of the last of the great classic era prog albums. Just a phenomenal record. I guess they were kind of a one and done band, although they did put out a couple EPs after this, and then they got back together and did a Box of Circles, which was just an awful album. But Garden Shed, man, just incredible. Kind of like a cross between Yes and Supertramp, I guess. Whatever, man. Just amazing. At number 41, yeah, we didn't have nearly enough. We didn't have any Italian albums in the top 15, so we're going to correct that. Here's the Quella Vecchia Locanda debut album. They put out exactly 2 albums. I could have gone with their second album. I love it almost as much, but this album is just great. If you like Italian prog, if you like violins, yeah, sometimes it even makes me think of Kansas, even though this came out before Kansas. Just incredible. I absolutely adore Quella Vecchia Locanda. At number 39, let's get back into the Canterbury stuff, and it's the second album from National Health of Cues and Cures. Their first album was Dynamite. This one's even better. Yeah, probably my favorite Canterbury album. Maybe there's a couple more that I like, but this is probably my apex Canterbury album. It's perfect from start to finish. Yes, it is, boys and girls. At number 38, let's go to the Netherlands and Kayak's. Well, this is the U.S. version of Starlight Dancer. It's easily the best thing Kayak ever did. The U.S. version is actually kind of like a greatest hits album, man. You've got the best songs off of the last Encore, the best songs off of the British version of Starlight Dancer. You've got a better version of I Want You to Be Mine, much better version. I hate the European version. You've got a B-side that wasn't on an album. So this is really kind of a compilation. It's a greatest hits album, if you were, but this is like all my favorite Kayak songs in one place. Just incredible. Yeah, I love Kayak. I love Starlight Dancer. It's incredible. At number 37, back to Italy with Le Orme's Felona e Sorona. Oh, man, I love Le Orme. I love Aldo Tagliapietra's voice. Kind of sounds like an Italian John Anderson. This is the album that tells the story of 2 planets. One's rich, one's poor, one's happy, one's sad. Guess which one's which? And you know what's going to happen. Yeah, there's going to be some kind of battle ensuing, absolutely. At number 36, we're going to go modern. Oh, it's Steven Wilson. Yes, the raven that refused to sing and other stories. I could have gone with Hand Cannot Erase. I almost went with Hand Cannot Erase. But these are my favorite albums, and I just prefer this, I think, in that it's a little more capital P prog. But, you know, we're splitting hairs here because both of those albums are 10 out of 10 masterpieces. But this is the one that just is a little more retro. It's a little more capital P, and I just adore it. That's my number 36. At number 35, yes, boys and girls, we're going back to Italy. It's Banco del Mutuo Soccorso and their second album, Darwin, released in 1972. Obviously tells the story of evolution, blah, blah, blah. But Banco's Darwin, man, just gives me chills thinking about how good this record is. Could have gone with their debut. Could have gone with their third album, Io Sono Nato Libero, but this is their masterpiece. It's unimpeachable. It's absolutely perfect. I adore every single second of it. And at number 34, how about a band from the UK that relocated to Germany to find fame and fortune? It's Nektar. Yeah, these guys were based in Germany, so they definitely have more of a space rock, almost krautrock kind of sound. They don't really sound British at all, but they put out some fantastic records. Recycled, Tab in the Ocean, got serious consideration, but at the end of the day, it's Remember the Future is their best album. At number 33, we're going modern again. This time we're going to Sweden and the Flower Kings. Oh, yeah, The Sum of No Evil. This was the final album to be released in the reissuing series that Royna Stolt and the boys and the Flower Kings have done. I love this album. It was a return to more retro prog after a couple of meandering double albums that had a whole bunch of other stuff going on with them. This is just pure prog from start to finish. It's got the most underrated song in the Flower Kings canon on here. Opens up with One More Time. Just incredible. But Love Is the Only Answer is the big epic here. And every song on here is amazing. No filler for a change, because a lot of Flower Kings albums have a little bit of filler on there. You know how it is. At number 32, it's Focus, Moving Waves, or Focus 2, or whatever you want to call it. This is their second album. This is the one that had Hocus Pocus on it. But more importantly, man, side 2 is all one song called Eruption, and it's just incredible. What a great epic. What a great album. What a great band. Focus. Unbelievable. I don't think they get nearly enough credit for what they do. At number 31, is this even a prog album? I don't know. Steven Wilson called it a prog album. He remixed and remastered this not too long ago. It's Chicago 2, their second album. Their first album was called Chicago Transit Authority, so technically this is Chicago 1, but, it is known as Chicago 2, and it's probably here because of side 2. There's a suite on here called Girl, what's it called? I don't even know. Suite for a Girl from Buchanan or something like that. Takes up all of side 2. It's just incredible. The rest of this album is really, really great too. Oh man, this was probably the first album that, was my band, my album. I fell in love with this thing in 1970. Before I was into the prog, you know how it goes, boys and girls. At number 30, it's Big Train and Folklore. Oh, I adore this band. I'm so happy they're still going on with all the personnel changes and people leaving the band and the great David Longdon dying. They're still going on, but this is the album that everything came together. Every song's perfect. It's got shorter, sweet songs like Wassel and Winky and Tellin' the Bees, but it's got the longer tracks like, London Plain and, what else? Transit of Venus Across the Sun. That's the one. Oh, man, I love Big Train. What a band. We're staying in the UK with number 29, but we're rolling it back to the 80s, and Misplaced Childhood, the third album from Marillion. I could have gone with Clutching at Straws. I definitely considered Brave and Marbles from the H era, but this is the one that stole my heart way back in the day. I had gotten Script from A Jester's Tear. It didn't really hit me. I didn't even bother with Fugazi. I didn't hear that until years later, but then when this came out, I was sold. I'm a fan. I love it. Love the artwork. Every song on here is great. Just incredible. At number 28, an album we talked about a little bit this year because it is in its 50th anniversary. Came out 50 years ago. It's Rick Wakeman, The Six Wives of Henry VIII. His best album by far. His debut solo album. We've talked about this album ad nauseum. It's just incredible. If you like Rick Wakeman, Steve Howe, Chris Squire, Alan White, Bill Bruford all in the same place, you can do a lot worse than The Six Wives of Henry VIII. Oh man, I got vinyl scattered all over the floor here. It's an ugly sight. At number 27, it's the Neal Morse Band of the Similitude of a Dream. Oh, baby. 2016, this album dropped. I think it was like November 2016. I remember it was right about the same time as the election when Trump got elected. So I'll always combine this and Trump's election in 2016. Seen the tour, went up to Cleveland and saw the band, met the boys. This is a masterpiece. There's probably only one or two albums in the 21st century I like better than this. Maybe this is my second favorite album of the 21st century. It's perfect in every single way. There was a part 2 called The Great Adventure. Just as good. Just slightly better, this one, because it was the first one. You know how that goes. That's how it always is. That's the rule of the jungle. At number 26, we're going back to Italy with Premiata Fornernia Marconi and their second album, Un Amico. This one is the perfect one. This is the one that, their first album's great. Their third album's great. Hey, their first 3 albums are amazing, but this is the one that gets the nod. I think it's a little better produced than the first album. And the third album's got a song in English I don't care for. This is the album right here, man. I love it. Just fantastic. If you don't know anything about, Italian prog, maybe start here. You could do a whole lot worse than that. At number 25, we're going to Germany and Triumvirate with Spartacus. Yes, I almost went with Illusions on the Double Dimple. That one's great. Old Loves, Die Hard's really good. The debut's good. I even like Pompeii. But this is the album that I think is absolutely perfect from start to finish. Yeah, they sound a little bit like ELP, but who cares? It's amazing. And at number 24, Museo Rosenbach's Zarathustra. Oh man, look at that album cover. Oh, that thing is so cool. You got Mussolini in there too. I guess they got into a little bit of trouble for that. But if you like Mellotron, this is the album for you, man. If you like hardcore prog at its absolute best, it's Zarathustra. You need this album in your life, boys and girls. You know you do. I've been talking about it long enough. At number 23, how about Demons and Wizards by Uriah Heep? Oh, yeah, boys and girls. This is their fourth album. You know, they had been playing around with prog since Salisbury, and even Open Your Eyes at July Morning, some longer tracks. This really is just everything you want. It's their best album. It's got Roger Dean artwork. It's got The Wizard, Rainbow Demon, Easy Living, Paradise the Spell, Poet's Justice. Just every song is great. And I just love this album very much. You know I do. At number 22, it's Chris Squire's Fish Out of Water, dropped in 1976, the final solo album. This came out in 75. This came out, I think, right after Ramshackled, and then I think The Story of I know the John Anderson album was the last of those solo albums that came out between Relayer and Going for the One. For a lot of people, this is the best of the solo albums. Me personally, obviously, I put Elias' Son Hillo ahead, but you can't go wrong with this album. This album's more Yes than half of the Yes albums in their discography, man. It's just incredible. Now, at number 21, it's Mike Oldfield and Omadon, his third album. Yeah, definitely could have gone with Tubular Bells or Hergest Ridge or Amarok or Incantations. Love all those albums. But at the end of the day, Omadon is the one that really gets me going. I adore this thing. I even like the end song about, riding a horse at the end. I think it's cool. Some people don't like it, but whatever. What do they know? At number 20, it's Camel's Mirage. Yeah, their second album. This thing is my favorite album. I love their first four. The debut's cool. This was the second, and then the Snow Goose was amazing, and then Moon Madness. Any of those four, could definitely be on this list, but Mirage is the one that really gets me going. It's got Lady Fantasy, Free Fall, Super Twister. Yeah, this is my favorite Camel album, and honestly, it's kind of not even close for me, but that's just me. That's the way I roll. At number 19, it's the first UK album. Yeah, I definitely could have gone with Danger Money from the following year, but how do I ignore the fact that this one's got Alan Holdsworth and Bill Bruford? I just can't, so it gets the nod. Oh man, Danger Money's so good though. That was a hard one. It really was. Some people consider this band to be like the last of the great classic prog bands from the 70s. They're not 100% wrong, are they, boys and girls? Man, this vinyl's loading up on me. Good thing we only got a couple more to go. At number 18, it's Crime of the Century from Supertramp, their third album, and clearly the album that catapulted them into the stratosphere. Songs like Dreamer and Rudy and School. It doesn't get any better than this. Clearly Supertramp's best album. Crisis What Crisis was great, even in the quietest moments. Heck, I even like Breakfast in America, but when it comes right down to it, this is the one for the ages. This is their masterpiece, and everybody knows it. You know it. You know it is. Oh, we only got a couple more here, boys and girls. Hang in there with me. We'll get through this thing at number 17. It's Vandergraaf Generator's Pawn Hearts. I thought long and hard about God Bluff. I thought long and hard about Still Life all weekend, going back and forth between those three albums. But at the end of the day, this one's got Plague of Lighthouse Keepers on it. And as a result, this one gets the nod. The US version's got Theme 1 on it. So that just makes a good album even better. And that's why I got it at number 17. Oh, at number 16. Hey, wait a second. I don't have the vinyl for number 16. So it's going to be Anglagard, and I'm going with their debut album, Hybris. I just priced that thing out the other day. I think they're asking like $900 is the cheapest version I can find for it on vinyl. So there it is. There is number 16 right there. My wife would kill me if I ever spent that much on a piece of vinyl. Anyway, boys and girls, that's the wrap up. Those are my 50 favorite albums. I will be putting a link, right up there that'll show you, how to get to part 1 so you can see what 1 through 15 was. I'll do the same thing on my non-prog list tomorrow. Anyway, that was awesome, man. That was a lot of fun. I love showing off vinyl. I love talking about my favorite albums. So yeah, real cool. Great episode. I will see you punks tomorrow. Peace in the Middle East. Free Tibet, and God save that king. Do it, boys and girls, one more time. God save the king. And Kamala Harris, too, why not?